blah 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 blah
Blah, 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 butt sex.
blah 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 blah
Butt
blah
sex in the anus.
Vaginal. What was
Canals.
it? Vaginal canals.
Vaginal canals, everybody. That's what we love to talk about on this show.
All right, so we're here with Brittney to talk about PlayStation 1.
Hello.
This is going to be our top 10 PlayStation 1 games. And you helped me come up with this list. Actually, we both came up with 5 and we sort of merged it together.
We melded.
That's right.
We meshed.
That's right. And now the thing is that don't get upset because we didn't include Final Fantasy VII.
Yeah, that was something when I was reviewing our list. I was like, there's no Final Fantasy VII here.
People are going to hate us. You know
People
what?
are going to hate
We're
us.
strong enough to take them on.
Bring it.
That's right.
That's right.
But, so it's our top 10 list, but we are going to have an honorable mentions, you know, just so we don't get tons of hate mail.
Final Fantasy VII will not be on there.
Number 10 is my pick, and I picked Fear Effect 1 and 2. Have you played these games?
I have not. I have to say, I have not played those.
So, you know what? These are going to be a little bit controversial because the games are kind of controversial.
Okay.
They're sort of survival horror games, kind of similar to Resident Evils.
I love Resident Evil.
But these are better. Well, I think...
Oh!
I think that they're actually better only because I think they're more interesting because they have really cool female characters that kick ass.
Okay, okay.
It's in the future. It's kind of cyberpunk, sort of like Blade Runner.
Okay.
And they're crazy Japanese. Like they start off in sort of reality and then they go to hell, literally. And it's just like nutty. It's totally out of control.
Okay. Who developed it? Do you know?
Eidos.
Okay.
I don't know who the actual developer is, so don't.
It's all good.
Like, I don't
when you're
know,
saying
man.
total Japanese, I'm thinking like Capcom as a company, they made Resident Evil, so I'm thinking, well, those aren't really Japanese.
These were actually pretty cool. They were kind of popular when they came out, but for whatever reason, they never caught on. So I don't know. For me, they are definitely one of my favorite PlayStation 1 games.
Awesome.
How about you?
I picked Tetris Plus. And now, there's not a lot to say about Tetris. I mean, it is what it is. But what I loved about Tetris Plus is it had a side panel of co-op. So my parents and I would play all the time I was growing up. And there's a fun little twist to it. So this little guy right here, he's constantly running across your blocks. And every like 15 seconds or so, the additional like pile of blocks will just pop out of nowhere, and so your guy's propelled up. And at the top of the panel is like a saw. And so if you can't like get your guy down to the very bottom of the panel by playing Tetris how you're supposed to and clearing out all the blocks, your poor little dude here will suffer a terrible fate. So for that reason, it was really fun to play with my parents growing up, and it just holds a special place in my heart.
Tetris is one of those games where, I mean, I still love playing it. Like anytime I take out a Game Boy or anything like that, even like my iPad, I have a version of Tetris on it. I love the game so much.
It never gets old, and it's so funny because it's like one of the original games you think of, right? When you think of video games, but it just doesn't get old.
Huh, cool.
Yeah.
So number 8 is a role-playing game I absolutely love. It is Chrono Cross.
Ah.
Yes, you know, Chrono Cross is kind of the unofficial sequel to Chrono Trigger. Have you played that?
I have played Chrono Trigger, but I've never played Chrono Cross.
Chrono Cross is pretty cool. It's not as good, but I love it. I mean, when I first played it, oh my god, it was amazing at the time. And it has one of my favorite combat engines in it. Actually, it's not too complex. It's still turn-based. It has that amazing, Squaresoft combat engine. I love it. The characters still go through different dimensions. It has 40 collectible characters in it, so there's plenty of replay.
Damn.
Yeah, actually, I have a friend of mine who has played this, I don't know, like 400 hours.
Holy
Yeah.
shit.
So,
All right.
It's a crazy game. I love it, and it has an amazing soundtrack. One of my favorites.
You know, I listen to a lot of video game music while I work, and Chrono Cross is one of the top soundtracks that are always coming up, and I love it. I know the music,
Yeah.
I don't know the game though.
Yeah, it has this world music. It's got a little bit of Middle Eastern music in there. It's got a little bit of Asian music. It's brilliant.
Awesome.
How about you?
I have Resident Evil 2. Are you familiar with this franchise?
I am.
You're hesitating!
No, I am. Actually, I haven't played that one though.
Okay, So, fun little story with Resident Evil 2 is I lied to my dad. My friend was over. His name was Tucker. And I was like, Dad, Tucker and I want to go to the store and get I made it seem like Resident Evil 2 was like a pony happy game. Like, something G-rated.
Okay.
And my dad, bless his heart, was totally, Anyway, so I rented this game, and I didn't get through the first cutscene before I had nightmares for literally 2 months. I'm serious. It took me 10 years before I could play this game again.
Huh.
But anyway, what I really loved about it is, the first Resident Evil game, you're going through the mansion, and you're seeing the underground labs, and it's awesome and cool.
Oh, yeah.
But in this, you actually get to see Raccoon City and kind of the aftermath of the T-virus outbreak. And you're introduced to Claire and Leon for the first time, and those are some of my favorite Resident Evil characters. And, the pre-rendered backgrounds are really cool. And so for me, I was just nerding out, I don't want to say mainstream, but I feel like this came out before zombies were the mainstream thing.
Yeah.
Of course, Romero was out way before this shit, but...
So is this your favorite Resident Evil game?
I would have to say Code Veronica is my favorite game.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yes, but this is my second favorite, easily. I love looking through Raccoon City Police Department, the city,
So next up for me is one of my favorite shoot-'em-ups of all time. Shoot-'em-up. It's Einhander.
Einhander.
Now, this is kind of an amazing game because it's by Squaresoft.
Okay.
And so you would think, well, Final Fantasy, role-playing games, what are they doing making a shoot-'em-up? But this is an amazing shoot-'em-up.
Really?
It's beautiful. It's hard as hell. and I still love playing it, actually. And what's kind of funny is that I was thinking about this today is that so many great games came from Squaresoft during the PlayStation 1 era. It's amazing.
Oh, yeah. Oh, totally.
So
I was just telling you, I had never heard of this, and you said it's a shoot 'em up, which is first, when this game came out, probably 10 years old. So I was like, that's why I probably never heard of it.
Yeah,
that wasn't my genre.
pretty tough, but even today, it's very collectible and a must-have for shoot 'em up fans.
Awesome. I have Twisted Metal 2.
I love the Twisted Metal series.
Yay!
Yes.
Awesome!
Yeah.
MetalJesusRocks, Twisted MetalJesusRocks. No, I usually, when I play a game, I need a good story, to keep me engrossed and everything, and this doesn't really have that much of a story. But for whatever reason, this game just hooked me more than any other Twisted Metals. I loved all of them, but this one was just it for me. I loved all the stages. I feel like every time you played an arena area, there's always something new to find out. A new hideout, a new power-up location, or anything.
They're so well-made games. Just the whole arena aspect, the level design, it's so much fun to explore. You're always finding new stuff,
Yeah.
I know. I need to get the new Twisted Metal. Have you played that yet?
No, I actually stopped after 4.
Yeah, well, they made too many of them.
They did.
They really did, but I've heard good things about the PS3 version. I want to get it.
I've heard really good things, too. Who is your character in Twisted Metal?
I don't remember.
Oh, Minion! Minion! That was my character, and I think he found his code by falling off one of the rooftops in New York City, but... Think.
Next up for me is one of my favorite games on the system. That is Crash Bandicoot 3 Warped.
Yes!
I love this game.
That was so fun. Oh.
I know. And actually, they're all really good, but I think it's the third one that got everything right. How do you describe this game? It's an amazing platformer. There's a bunch of variety in it. I love the characters. I love the bad guy. It's just amazing.
Fun times. They couldn't have taken the series and put it in a racing game any better, I think.
Yeah, totally. So Crash Bandicoot 3 for me. What do you got?
I have one of my faves. Breath of Fire 3.
I've been looking for a copy for this.
Really?
Yeah, for my collection for a while.
I have 4. We should talk.
What?
Yeah, I'm a hoarder.
Ooh.
But
so glad you came over.
I got the hook up. No, but seriously, on paper, this game doesn't offer anything extraordinary when it comes to JRPGs, but it has amazing characters, a really fun story, and it does something that I really appreciate, which is there's a lapse in time during the plot. Half the game you're a child, second half you're an adult, and you get to receive that world through through your adult eyes, and that's something I really loved about Ocarina of Time. That's something I've always loved. So, why I love this game. Many reasons, but that's one of the top reasons.
I played Breath of Fire 4, which I think is just an amazing game. I love that game.
See, I've never played that game. I ordered off eBay, and then the game never worked.
Ah, that's a bummer.
And now I haven't played it since. But no, this is just an awesome game. Characters from all walks of life. And it's beautiful. The music is awesome. There's a really cool, you're a dragon. You're Ryu, right? So you get to find all these genes throughout the world. You can splice them together and become a different dragon every time you do it. So you might be a whelp or a behemoth. It's just awesome. The story's amazing. I could go on and on and on and on. So I won't.
So number 2 for me is, I think, one of the greatest role-playing games of all time.
Preach it, brother.
That is Xenogears. This game is amazing. First of all, it has a great combat engine, which I love, which you do hand-to-hand combat for half the time, then you're in the gears the other half the time. So it's a lot of variety in the combat. The story is batshit crazy.
Yeah, that it is.
It's amazing because I looked at a plot summary once, and it just goes on and on and on.
You're like, what's going on right now?
Yeah, there's so many subplots. There's so many. I mean, you go out in space. I believe at one point you take on God or something like that. It's nuts.
You know, I haven't finished this game, but one of my fondest memories, my grandma plays video games, and she could not get past a certain area where you have to leap over like a gap in bridges or something. And so I would go over there, and every summer I'd hang out there, and she's like, Britt, I cannot get past this part. And so I would finish that for her, all the parts she couldn't get. And for that reason alone, that game just is really special to me.
Yeah, its only flaw is that the second disc is a little... I guess they didn't have time or money to finish it like quite the way they expected to. Also, this is technically part 5 of a 6-part series, and so it's definitely massive in scope. But yeah, it's cool. It definitely.
How do we get our hair like that?
Yeah, with that little.
That's pretty impressive. And I mean, his ponytail's like defying gravity, anti-gravity ponytail.
We can work on that.
Let's do it.
Okay.
Okay.
How about you?
I don't even know if I can like properly explain myself when it comes to Final Fantasy IX.
Hello.
This game it's easily probably my favorite game of all time. I spent countless hours with this game. I wrote like a 400-page fan fiction about this game. Wow. I have posters, I have collectibles. I don't even know like if I can like properly, but anyway, so you know the characters to me, that's what's most important in a game, and the characters in this game are just so well-rounded, so dynamic. You have a freaking like Q, I don't even know what that is, looks like a frog person whose main goal in life is to eat food and catch frogs, and then you have Zidane, who is a thief, you have Garnet, who's a princess, you have her guard, you have a bounty hunter. You
remember a lot about this game. How much have you played it?
Well over probably 200 hours of this game, which is maybe 3 or 4 playthroughs, but it just made such an impact on my life, and I can't.
You're gonna tear up, aren't you?
I probably will, actually. No, I probably will, but I can't listen to the opening music without like tearing up. But no, the story is just really good, and it's just, I can't.
I really enjoyed it as well. I haven't finished it though. It's one of those games where I get to about the 50-hour mark, and I get distracted. I have no excuse. I'm not saying it's right. I'm just saying
I can't be mad at you. I only hurt for you for not finishing this.
Okay.
Like please, if you learn anything from this video, play this. Yeah. So that is our top 10 PlayStation 1 games of all time. So long ago. But what was your first memory with the PlayStation?
I was late to the PlayStation, and I had a roommate who had one though, and one of the most amazing things I saw was Gran Turismo 2. I was like, I was a PC guy, and so I'd seen really awesome driving simulators and stuff like that, but I honestly didn't think the PlayStation was powerful enough to do that kind of game.
You have the PC mentality.
I know, I was a total PC snob, right? I still kind of am, but man, watching him play Gran Turismo 2 with the cars and the physics and the soundtrack, I was blown away. I was like, I was really jealous. How about your first memory?
All right, my first memory of the PlayStation. My grandma always got my cousin and I consoles, so she was the first to get us the Super Nintendo, etc., etc. So PlayStation came around, and I remember watching, I think it was Jet Moto. My cousin hooked it up Christmas Eve, and he hooked his up, and obviously I hadn't been home yet, so I hadn't been able to play mine. So I'm watching him play his, and there was like real life footage of actual people like doing shit, and I was like, oh my god, like this could happen? Like we're in the future, And to me, that was like, holy shit.
Yeah.
Like this is a TV, but not. I don't know.
Yeah, no, I agree. It's like the PS1 was definitely the first console to do 3D very well. Even though looking back on it now, I think it definitely looks a little dated.
Blocky,
and the textures aren't great.
Right.
But man, at the time, it was amazing. And it was so easy to pop in a game, play. Again, unlike the PC where you dealt with video cards, drivers, all that sort of stuff.
But I miss those days. Those were the days of like simplicity and just like pure gaming and revolutionary. You know, I feel like today, you know, you don't get that anymore with like the Xbox One and PS4. It's like, oh, these are really cool, but it's just kind of a step above what we had. But back then, you remember that leap? It was like, holy shit.
The other thing is too is that the amount of variety on the PS1 was out of control.
Oh yeah.
Because you had the 3D games, like a lot of them that we showed, but then also too you had amazing 2D games which were still coming out.
Right.
Platformers, racing games.
Croc, Gex, yes.
But just so much variety that frankly you just don't have anymore, you know. So
I agree.
I love collecting for the console, definitely.
Me too. It's one of my favorite. That and PlayStation 2.
Absolutely. And now also too, I want to talk about you and your website.
Yay!
You run a website that's awesome, and also a YouTube channel.
I do. Yeah, so my website's name is blondenerd.com. And it's pretty much me, my ramblings. There's no professionalism, so please don't expect that. I use every 4-letter word that you can think of.
And you make up some, you know.
I do make up a lot of words. Yeah, and I'm also a collector, like this fine chap right here. So my YouTube videos are usually me showing off new finds, new hauls, or just my collection, or talking about random happenstances.
You're kind of a competitor, I'll be honest. Like actually,
really?
I remember emailing you and we're like, you're like, do you go to garage sales? I was like, yes. Where do you go? And thankfully you were like,
we're in different counties.
Yes.
So it's okay. I mean, I garage sale like south, and he garage sales
all right.
up here.
Okay, we can hang out.
We're
okay,
cool.
Yeah.
He says I'm a competitor after he asks me for a copy of Breath of Fire 3. Just point that
I'm not saying there's not benefits. I'm just saying, you know.
Competitors with benefits.
Too awesome. Well, thanks very much for coming on.
Thank you.
This was so fun.
It was so fun.
Thank you guys for watching this video. I'd love to know what you guys think of our top 10 and what games we missed, because I know there are several, I'm sure.
Oh, there's many.
Final Fantasy 7.
Final Fantasy 7. Final Fantasy 7.
That's all right. That's all right. We can take it. We can take it.
Diversity is good.